Now the bad. So why do we have problems? There are basically 5 reasons that cause failure in the membrane. One's the application. The waterproofing is applied without the proper surface preparation and the correct installation methods as required by the standards. Damp structure is a big problem. People tend to apply waterproofing thinking it's waterproofing can be applied any time, but we have problems with dampness underneath the membrane. What happens in certain membranes, the actual moisture will eventually come through the membrane and re-emulsify it in some cases if it's acrylics and that. Also another problem we find is dusty situations. Membranes are applied over dust, primers aren't used properly, and it'll just basically peel off. A waste of time. The other problem is a material. Using the wrong material for the job. Horses for courses, as they say. Incorrect compatibility between materials or the installation method not followed the manufacturer's specifications. No bond breakers, Phillister corners, not allowing the membrane to cure correctly. Curing meaning a lot of membranes are applied, you can touch them, they're dry very quick, but they're not dry throughout. So you need to wait probably 24 hours, 48 hours, even 72 hours, depending what type of membrane it is. And also in winter, certain membranes are actually slowed down, so you've got to be very careful of that. Damage by and also another thing too is UV. A lot of membranes are applied on roofs or balconies, thinking that all membranes are fine. All membranes aren't. They've actually got UV ratings, and if you pry the long membrane, you'll only have about a year to maybe 2 years out long life, and it'll be gone. Damage by other trades. Now, that's another big problem. When you coordinating or sequencing your trades, try and have your bulk of your trades, basically your ceiling guys, gyp rockers, even painters for that matter, do all that type of work before the actual membrane gets down, because once you put the membrane, you should be having the tile straight after it. Now, if you think by putting the tiles down you don't want a painter on top because you might chip a tile or a gyp rocker on it, then forget it, because they'll do more damage to a membrane than they'll do a tile. So your best bet is to, if you're going to do that, then put the membrane, put the tiles, and then protect the tiles, and then have your other trades on top. But having the amount of times we see trades walking onto our membranes, it's incredible, and that's where the damage creates a big problem. Movement. Again, movement loadings or shrinkage, substrates. Again, it's a matter of applying the right method of membrane or system. You've got your concrete substrates, you've got your timber, you've got your FC sheets. So not one membrane will do everything. So you need to get the right membrane, and if you're not sure, you talk to your suppliers and they'll actually help you along and guide you along through the system. Chemicals is another problem that's coming up apparent, which is basically people cleaning bathrooms, applying bleaches, detergents, and certain products can't handle that. They will eventually deteriorate. So again, suppliers will have ratings on their materials, what they can and can't do. CSIRO does a lot of testing on these type of things to try and improve them, but that's an issue you've got to be careful of as well. Another problem that basically we find in the industry is that builders will feel that waterproofing is not necessary on a particular area, especially retaining walls to garages, planter boxes, or sort of retaining walls onto, say, garden areas. And they feel, well, they're not habitable, there's nothing to worry about, don't need to worry, don't worry about waterproofing them. That's fine if you don't own the property, but if you got a basement and you can't even put a shelf against the wall because it's full of water, it's very annoying. And also you've got to be careful that if you get too much moisture in the basement or too much moisture in an area, you could contravene the BCA, which that could be an issue that you need to be aware of. There's another one there, that's a car park. Or you're cracking through the slab, the membrane's failed, and it's starting to leach on. Generally, 9 out of 10, it's on a car, and it can be very costly to repair that. It's got to be either buffed out or resprayed. There's another situation there. The brown indicating either it's rust or tannin. It's either from a planter box, or it could be rusting coming through the rear bars and that, which could create another problem for you. There's a membrane that's got had a moisture underneath it and basically just ruined it. That was investigated. That was under pavers. That was all dug up and see what the problem was. Now there's a typical one I'm talking about. This is an external retaining wall. Plants, everything behind it that faces the street. If you had in that building, I don't think you'd be very impressed with that feature. All the salting coming through, the water dragging through, all the rust or brown marks, either rust again, Rio bars, or could be the tannin again from the soil. If it's block filled, more than likely it's the Rio bars, more than likely. But that's another major issue too. So while there's no laws for that, even this is another one, there's no regulations, but you should make it. I mean, that's another basement, car park. That's, I believe that's coming through the shear bolts, right, and dragging all again, rust or could be tannin again from the soil. And you saw the concrete just about. There's another one there, which is a great site. There's your planter box up the top, leaking through, right down. This one also is leaking, helping it along as well. So basically all the side of the buildings, again, it's a combination of rust and what's the name, tannin. Okay, again, to fix that, basically digging everything up and replacing everything, which is very costly. Be about a quarter of the cost to actually waterproof that properly in the beginning, if not more. That's another internal situation there. There's your shower screen there. The water's either getting over the angle, around the angle, or through the wall. There's the signs that indicate you've got issues there, getting fed from the shower. Two-storey home. First signs of trouble. Okay, that needs to be investigated. Usually it's, once you get to that stage, you've got a lot of issues. Yeah, so basically, just be careful on what you pick as far as materials go and the proper systems for what you're doing.